When the average American opens their mailbox in 2026, they're not expecting a love letter, they're expecting a bill. A credit card statement swollen by interest. A loan payment creeping higher than last month. A reminder that the cost of borrowing in America has never felt heavier. Maybe it's the $4,000 balance that never seems to shrink no matter how many minimum payments you make. Maybe it's the sting of a rejected loan application even though you swore your credit score was good enough. Or maybe it is that moment staring at the screen when you realize your APR just jumped again and you have no clue why. This is the part of the financial story nobody warns you about. The quiet panic. The silent shame. The feeling that the system is designed to win while you fall behind. But what if the next credit card you choose could be the difference between drowning and finally catching your breath? That's why this moment matters. Because 2026 is not the America of 5 years ago. Medical bills arrive like surprise storms. Car payments stretch past $750 a month. Student loans have restarted for millions. Credit card APRs that once began with a 1 now start with a 2 or even a 3. And yet, buried inside this pressure is an opportunity if you choose the right tool. Most Americans don't realize how much money they're losing because they picked the wrong beginner credit card or because they didn't understand how credit utilization quietly controls their score, or because they never learned the difference between a 19% APR and a 29% APR until it was too late. Today that changes. Tonight you get clarity. Tonight, the chaos of credit cards becomes a blueprint. And the simplest decisions, the ones you make next, can reshape your financial life for years. So let's begin with the first truth. Not all beginner credit cards are created equal. Imagine two new cardholders. One gets approved for a card with a $500 limit and uses half of it. The other receives a $2,000 limit but uses the same $250. Both spent the same amount, yet one will watch their credit score rise while the other watches it sink. Utilization is the invisible hand of the credit world, and too many Americans learn about it the hard way. That's why the first category of beginner cards in 2026 is all about generous limits, simple structures, and rewards that actually matter. Cards like the Discover It Cashback and the Chase Freedom Rise are built for people just starting out, people who need forgiveness, simplicity, and a fighting chance. Picture a young worker in Ohio, juggling rent increases and medical bills, finally approved for a beginner cashback card. Every grocery run earns something back. Every on-time payment becomes a step toward approval for their dream apartment. And by month 6, they see the first score bump, not because they made more money, but because they finally understood how to use the system instead of getting used by it. And then comes the second truth. Your APR is not just a number. It is the cost of your mistakes. A 32% APR on a $1,000 balance can quietly siphon away the money you thought you saved on rewards. So the second group of beginner cards worth considering in 2026 focuses on low interest and stability. Think of the Citi Diamond Preferred or the Wells Fargo Reflect cards created for the person carrying balances, fighting rising expenses, or trying to survive a temporary setback. There's a single parent in Texas right now using a long 0% introductory APR period to pay off a dental emergency without sinking into deeper debt. These cards are not about earning flashy rewards, they are about buying time. Time to breathe, time to repair, time to rebuild before interest devours your progress. But rewards do matter, especially when every dollar counts. That's where the third group comes in. Beginner-friendly cards that actually pay you back for everyday life. The American Express Blue Cash Everyday and the Capital One Quicksilver One are designed for people who want simple, predictable earnings. No rotating categories, no hidden rules. Just a steady return on gas, groceries, streaming, and the cost of living in America. These are the cards for the teacher in Michigan who wants to squeeze every last cent of value out of her spending because her paycheck hasn't kept up with inflation. They're for the gig worker in Atlanta filling up his tank 3 times a week. They're for anyone who wants to make the system give something back. And yet the fourth truth is this: your credit card isn't just a tool, it has a stepping stone. Beginner cards are meant to open doors, not trap you inside. That's why the most valuable cards in this category are the ones that help you graduate. Cards like the Capital One Platinum or secured cards, such as the Discover It Secured, which convert to unsecured lines after consistent payments. This is where people who were once denied for everything suddenly start seeing approvals. A young nurse in Arizona built her score from 540 to 680 in a year because the card she picked rewarded consistency. She didn't win the lottery, she didn't get a raise. She simply understood the timeline. Low utilization, on-time payments, patience, and a card that evolves with you. But there's one more truth, one that belongs to 2026 in a way it never did before. Your data is your leverage. Modern issuers are using artificial intelligence to evaluate spending patterns, repayment habits, and risk. That means the fifth group of beginner cards, the modern fintech-backed cards like Petal, Grow Credit, and Chime Credit Builder offer pathways that didn't exist a decade ago. No credit check approvals, automatic reporting, limits based on cash flow instead of a 3-digit score. These cards are changing who gets a second chance in America. Imagine a college graduate in New York drowning in student loans, rejected by 3 major banks, suddenly approved for a fintech builder card because they can prove consistent income. Within 6 months, their score jumps 40 points. Not because they gamed the system, but because someone finally built a product that understood their reality. And now we arrive at the moment of choice, the moment where all 5 paths converge into one truth. The beginner credit card you choose is not about rewards, nor limits, nor prestige. It is about direction. Every approval is a doorway. Every declined application is a lesson. Every statement balance is a snapshot of where you are and where you're trying to go. In an America where borrowing costs keep rising, where wages strain under inflation, where debt feels like a second job, the credit card in your wallet can either lift you or lock you down. So here's the closing: you deserve the truth that carries weight. Credit freedom is not about being wealthy. It is about being awake. Being aware of every interest charge, every utilization spike, every opportunity to negotiate, build, and protect your financial future. In 2026, the most powerful thing an American can do is understand their credit before the world decides for them. Let your next card be the one that shifts the balance. Let it be the moment the story changes, because credit isn't just a number. It's leverage, it's possibility. And for the first time, it's yours.